Welcome back to the question and answer session with Space Tomato and Loken Plays, a Space Tomato whose camera works now.
Yay. And Mike, right?
Yeah, and Mike.
You guys
So,
can talk?
yeah, it's
Cool.
fantastic. And if you just missed it, we were just talking about the year of playability in terms of just like breaking down, was it the year of playability? What did we see so far? I made the joke beforehand with these fellas that we're kind of at the end of the year of playability, since CIG's year goes from September to uh, June, and then they just disappear July and August.
Yeah.
So, but they were sort of coming, and there's definitely some indications that we're coming towards the end. CIG doing some tests with new with Vulcan and AI, and talking about things like the engineering. So there's gonna be some questions about that, but these are questions that are taken from chat, from YouTube and Twitch chat, that we're answering here live. So as a result, this can get a little spicy. This is why we call it the after dark section of the Captain's Table. So, oh no, and now Fast Cart and Griff are in chat, so it's going to get even spicier. All right, so we're going to start off with the first question, specifically for Loken, from Escape, who asks, Loken, why is the Tumbril Storm your most favoritist vehicle in the entire verse? I don't think there's a stream that we've been on together in terms of where we're doing like recorded content where somebody hasn't asked you to talk about the Storm and why you hate it.
I hate the Storm with a passion that burns brighter than the star we orbit. Jeez, I dislike that vehicle beyond belief because it's the Storm is a vehicle that was designed completely a style over any substance whatsoever. The whole thing was it's the most daft creation. It's supposed to be a fast scout tank that's bigger than the mainline tank it's supposedly built alongside. It doesn't fit in anything. It's slower than the mainline battle tank. It's weak as hell, and you enter in through the front. And again, I've said this a million times, I'll say it a million more, okay? You're creating a combat vehicle. The front usually is pointed toward the thing you're looking at. If it's a scout, why the hell would you put the only entrance and exit point in the same place as the lower glaciers plate, which is going to likely take fire? At the very least, have a top hatch like a tank, or in an ideal world, a rear hatch out the back. Okay, I could go on, but suffice to say, I bloody hate the Storm, and I hate the fact that it was billed as something and it is completely not. Okay, the only good thing about it is it looks kind of cool, but even then, it's kind of a fat pancake. Hate it. Burn it.
So someone asked what's better, the Storm or the Mole. I think they meant the Mule, but in both cases, the Mule and the Mole are better because the Mole actually has a purpose, and the Mule can actually be a support vehicle. It's just holding boxes, but it has infinitely more support than the bespoke size 3 and everything else that Loki just said.
Come on now,
honestly,
I can balance boxes on my Storm.
I like the idea that it's still less stupid than the Rock DS. No, the Rock DS actually does what it's supposed to do. It actually does its job. The Storm is just it's a blithering idiot.
I feel bad because the guy who made it was his first job and his first thing, and it's like I don't want to be like, yeah, it shows, but it shows. Unfortunately, I hope he learned from the mistakes there, but
the actual execution of the vehicle they wanted to put out was well done. I will say that. I don't think it's anything against the person who designed it in terms of the visuals, but they needed to consult somebody who uses armed vehicles. Like really, 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 really needed to consult somebody who uses armed vehicles, scout vehicles, that kind of thing before designing it, because it makes absolutely no blazing sense. And truth be told, the Nova tank also suffers from a lot of these issues as well.
People asked about the Storm AA, and I feel like the Storm AA is almost certainly the better use of that vehicle. It almost feels like it was designed for the Storm AA.
It's okay because at that point it's not a frontline scout vehicle that's going to take fire indirectly. It's going to be a backline support vehicle that sits there quietly somewhere and has a ton of missiles, and that's all right. That I can kind of get behind.
And it's more armored and it's faster than your typical sort of backline vehicle, so it can take a little bit of hits if it gets like a sapper fire or something. But
It seems like the Storm got screwed over by their whole want to categorize vehicles by their base. like what vehicle can they fit in, and they were like, we need the Storm to fit in every vehicle that a Nova can, and not less. So they just made it wide just so it would fit that sort of standard.
Yeah. All right. So
Needed to be smaller. Anyway.
This is inside baseball joke from Stakeroo, but Stakeroo asks, since we have Lore Daddy and Daddy Lolo, can we call space Daddy Toes? Our communities have called me Lore Daddy, and Loken is Daddy Lolo, so you are now Daddy Lows. There, Space Tomato.
They even got me a
Toes.
hat with it
Yes.
on.
Honestly, it fits with the rest of the community, focusing
Yes.
on the toes
On the
instead of the
toes.
rest of the word.
Yes.
Everybody comes to our stream and they're like, why is everyone just talking about toes, man? It's because it's part of the word.
Yeah.
They just ignored the other parts.
All right.
Jesus.
Next question comes from YouTube, from Skeeto, who asks, year of stability, but what do you guys think of the next focus? What do you think is the next focus?
Ooh.
Tomato, I'll start with this one, since I know you you and I both go into the monthly reports and into the features. So like what do you think the CIG is going to look at next?
More Squadron 42, to be honest.
Think so? How about in Star Citizen? Like once they've done the polish in, like that sort of thing. What do you think they're
like next year?
Yeah, like next year.
Yeah.
I think they're really going to try and lean into base building and crafting. I think those are the main things that they're pushing towards. There are definitely several initiatives that feel like they're going to wrap up sometime next year, going from the Vulcan stuff and changes in there to engineering progress to flight model stuff, possibly quantum travel. There are just several like lines of development that we've been seeing going that would make sense for next year, but also some of them made sense for this year. So it's hard to say. But I do think that a big focus they're headed towards is base building and tangentially crafting, because you can do a lot of stuff with those things.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%. Yeah, I agree. I think base building and crafting is going to be the thing. I don't think we're going to see engineering, truth be told. I think it's the thing is that I think they wanted to push out engineering, but it's just I have a sneaky suspicion that the idea of engineering was a lot harder than they thought to implement because it touches so much of the game and so many things revolve around it. It's one of those ones where I don't think we'll see it next year, but I think we'll see other things too. And as Space was saying, flight model, and we've been seeing them talking about finally implementing Vulcan properly, so performance hopefully as well. So I could see those being the main headline aspects of next year. Maybe another star system ?
I mean,
You know,
I think
it's
it's
seeing rumblings.
Yeah,
that's actually another question. We'll come into that, and we'll kind of wrap into this. But I do think it's going to be the year of a lot of those. Those are probably the aspirations, but I think for sure we're likely going to get the year of systems and system specialization. So like the year of dynamic server meshing and instancing. I think those are the two big features we're going to see implemented for sure, no matter what. Because like engineering requires a lot of things. Maelstrom, all of these things are like they have integration problems, or they have their own issues, like base building and crafting. They all have their own. They have other things that they rely on to exist, but like server meshing and dynamic server meshing and instancing are like the tied together ones, and those are the ones they're clearly focusing on because they've been talking about it since freaking June. So it's something that they've been working on in the background. If not, it's not done, but it's being worked on. So I could see them focusing on that because Chris wants you to go to Nyx and fight the Vanduul in an instance fleet combat. It is like, it's so telegraphed now about what they want you to do. It's like, yes, this is the way we want the story to move. Go punch a Vanduul in the face, which makes sense because the Squadron is coming out next year, or still hopefully coming out next year. I still think it is, but because if that's the case, then they'll have a huge amount of time in Nyx to test out how fighting against the Vanduul feels like with players in the PU. So if the last minute they're like, we need to change some of the damage characteristics of these Vanduul weapons and ships, they can do that before Squadron releases. So it's like a stealth beta for Squadron, almost.
It's gonna be
that's pretty convincing, actually.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting too to see the segment of players who are coming into this game and their first thought is like the Vandal or the main bad people that we should be fighting, and you got all these millions of people who have tried the game, or however many people who have tried the game, and they're like, it's just bit zeros.
Yeah.
It's just the freaking pyro gangs. Those are the bad people. What do you mean Vandal? We haven't been fighting them.
Yeah, they just showed up, man. Like last week. What are you talking about? Fighting the Vandal? You come back when you've had to fight the Xeno threat for the 17th time because they don't want to die, you know.
Or the elevators.
Yes.
Jeez, right? Ninetales, my dude.
Yeah.
It goes way back.
Talk to me when you've punched a Ninetales lieutenant in the face till he died. All right.
Dead Pirates Roberts. That's a freaking throwback there.
All right. Next question comes from Captain Jagera, who asks, question I have asked Paul in the past. What is the kind of group gameplay that Space Tomato and Loken believe is necessary for the game to succeed as a large-scale multiplayer game? Tomato, since you're first there.
Industrial. I'm biased. I already said that was my thing, but I think this game could survive without combat. I do not think it could survive without like cargo hauling, mining, and moving around resources. I think that's a big part of driving a game that's interesting. It makes crafting interesting. It makes looting interesting. It makes finding resources interesting. I'm not saying combat doesn't matter. I just think like group gameplay does best when logistics are involved.
Satisfactory doesn't need combat to be fun. That's a good point.
Fair.
You know.
Yeah.
I love. What is that name? There's one that's like Factorio. Factorio is great. It doesn't need enemies. It doesn't need combat. It does have combat, but it doesn't need combat to be fun. So, you know. But Loken, your thoughts? What does it need?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's already doing what I think it needs to be successful, just to give people the opportunity to play with other people in a meaningful fashion, in a real-time environment without load screens, and let people interact and have these adventures in space. You know, I think that fundamentally being there in a situation where it's persistent and working is a humongously intoxicating and very seductive aspect of Star Citizen, which you don't see in other games. I mean, I'll use an example. I was doing No Man's Sky just recently, last week, doing the whole Corvette thing. Technically, that's the same gameplay loop as getting your buddies on to like a constellation and flying off. The desync was insane. People couldn't see the ship half the time. It was just like, it felt like I was playing old school Star Citizen a lot of times. I just had this feeling of, I'm really lucky that the SC is already doing this. Don't get me wrong, it was fun. But my point being is that is important. Now, that said and done, I'll be honest, I also like industry. I personally need base building.
Yeah.
Because I like building things, surprisingly enough. I know anyone who's met me would never know that. But no, the ability to build stuff, the ability to have a permanence, something, a holding of some description, something that's either been created by yourself or with your friends. It gives you kind of like almost a claim to a little bit of a little bit of SC. I think that's also quite huge. But overall, I think that it's already got a lot of the stuff that it needs to be successful. I just need to keep developing it, making it better, and giving us more reasons to log in. There you go. Bit of a wishy-washy answer, but hopefully it works.
Yeah, it works. I think it's a good point. I mean, I've told this to Jakara in the past, but the basic idea is that it needs to have a reason for people to play together and a reason for you to log on and do things. It needs to feel good. Like someone mentioned in chat, like Elite has its community goals and Star Citizen needs that, and it needs some sort of MMO public event. And my immediately brain went to, because my brain is stuck on Senator Armin Strong mode when we talk about big groups, which is Siege of Orison. And I'm
Siege of Orison.
What would it not be an amazing event if you had a Siege of Orison event, which is just all of Orison is taken and it's just on fire, and your job is, as a community, is to take it back. So you have to take missions to go to specific places and support, security and Marines and stuff like that, fighting off Ninetales as you go through.
Paul, do you suddenly have this urge to, I don't know, maybe this is a crazy idea, don a cape and maybe, I don't know, get in a small drop pod of some description and just like fire yourself down at something? I'm just asking. Okay?
That
it's random.
That or I don't know, get into a Titan and somehow fall onto the locations.
Yeah. You just end up falling out of the thing, and I don't know. We could call it Titanfall.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, that'll be going crazy.
That doesn't sound great, dude.
You couldn't make a successful game of that though, could you? Nah.
But yeah, I think like events like that, which would be because I always go back to my days in WoW. I was one of the early adopters of WoW, but I wasn't like day one WoW. I was a hardcore long-term fan of the World of Warcraft, not World of Warcraft, Warcraft game. So like one of my first games was my first 3 games were SimCity 2000, computer games at least. For SimCity 2000, Civilization 2, and Warcraft 2. I still remember how to log work into Warcraft 2 with DOS. I booted it through DOS before Windows was
God damn.
Yeah.
Old man.
Yes, old man indeed. But as a result, like Warcraft had always been a interesting universe to me. So when I heard about World of Warcraft, I logged in and played it. I got a couple characters pretty high to like level 30s and 40s. This is like vanilla WoW. And then I just sort of never had any friends who played it, so I just sort of stopped playing it. And when I came back after a couple of months, just because I was just interested in see what happened, I logged into one of the cities, and there was these giant floating pyramids over the cities. And I was like, what is going on? And like, there was just enemy mobs in the streets, and like high-level players were running past me. And I'm like, I logged out here a couple months ago, and I've come back, and all hell is broken loose. And like, that was an event that has made me go, that is something I want to see in any sort of MMO, is sort of this total upheaval of like, congratulations. Now all of the places you are safe are not safe anymore. Now it's time for us to all get together to try to beat these people back. Like those sorts of things.
I mean, there's a modern example of it just recently. I know I'm talking and referencing a lot, but Helldivers, Super Earth got attacked. I mean, the number of players who surged back in to defend Super Earth was insane. That's 400,000 or 500,000 people concurrently dropping. It was these things work. So yeah, 100%. I agree. Let's have one of the planets get attacked and just take it back. You know. 100%.
And so that's the sort of thing that I think would be something big enough and scale enough that if CIG were to implement it with the right degrees, that they would get a lot of people invested, you know? So.
Yeah. That's something you can tell people as well. You know, I was there. You know, I was there when Orison was attacked, or I took it back. You know?
Yeah. Well, you don't even have to have Spectrum badge. Like I like how like Helldivers has those capes you get. And so if you were just there, you got a cape. So like if you're there, you get like a patch or a helmet.
Yeah,
or
patch. Oh, dude, a patch would be great, bro. That'd be so fantastic.
I have
patches.
I have been an advocate for having patches and rocker patches so that you could like put them onto a jacket, so you could just have a jacket that's just filled with patches of all the places you've done and things you've done. So
that'd be so cool. I'd be so down for that.
All right. Next question comes from Mithras1, who asks, should capital ships run only as multiplayer? Controversial opinion. I don't like solo capital ships. I hate the idea. They should run, but they shouldn't work because I hate.
How is that controversial? That's the coldest hot take I've ever heard.
Well, apparently people like the thing is I've heard this before. I don't think the pilot should fire the freaking main gun of an Idris. I think there should be a dedicated gunner. There shouldn't be any guns you fire on an Idris or any vehicle, any capital class, and if you're flying it, it should be a gunner.
Let me put it to you this way. All right, as a big ship lover, I love cap ships. No, they should not bloody work as solo vessels. They are massive monsters that should have crew. Now, the question obviously comes in, this argument of solo versus multiplayer is, oh, but I am X, Y, and Z person to whom has a hard, difficult job, doesn't have the time to get people online, to get the ship going. And as a professional cat herder, I know how hard it is to get people who you do play with on a regular basis all in the same bloody place in their bloody seats with their bloody gear. It takes about 3 bloody hours. It's awful. That's right, boys. I'm looking at you. You know who you are. Anyway, that said and done, I would like to see there being a system in play so that a solo captain could theoretically fly their ship, but there'd in my opinion, need to be a mechanic of hiring AI crew of some description, going around paying their fees. There needs to be a drain on that, right? There needs to be a consequence for doing that, but would give them the ability to ultimately utilize their ship in a technically solo capacity, but in actuality, it's still crewed, just not with humans, basically. Now, that is a little ways out, but that's the way I could see that situation being resolved amicably. That's where I'm at with it.
Tomato, should people solo capital ships?
I mean, I think CIG should go through the process of splitting responsibilities up to the chairs and the kiosks or the displays that they had for that. And then players should be able to play with that however they can. If that means that you go out with them all,
yeah, and
like,
do
this isn't even
seats.
capital ship.
Yeah,
this is a philosophy that should go for every single ship. If you can go out and fly a mole to a place and then get out of the pilot seat, set it to VTOL, get in the laser seat and laser the rock, and then collect it, like, okay, that's you. You ran a mole solo. If you can go out in a javelin and sit in the middle of space and run to every turret and shoot some ships that are flying around you and be like, yeah, we'll take them down. Cool, that's you. You're in a javelin solo. Might not work out that well, but I think you should be able to do it. Just it's not going to be very effective.
All right.
Like an Orion, for instance.
Yeah.
What's the solo Orion going to do? Just pilot itself out there and then do the same thing that a mole might be doing, which is snatching up asteroids and mining them. It's like if CIG balances the way the ships work correctly, then you're going to be the person who says, hey, I'm losing more money than I'm making anyways. Why would I do this?
Yeah. I just want big ships to have a penalty. They don't currently, is the problem. Like a capital ship, if you fly it solo Idris, there's just no penalty to it. Because you can just abandon it and be like, lol, I just get it back later. I'll just claim it and come back later.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I do agree. I was going to say, though, as a Polaris owner as well, there's definitely a penalty to running that thing.
Oh, yeah,
I can't
it's the cost.
I can't fire my guns. Yeah. I can't fire those things. I refuse. I have maybe once, since they made the change, authorized the usage of torpedoes. That is it. Yeah. Other than that, no, you leave those alone.
I kind of like them being expensive because I remember the episode of Cowboy Bebop where Jet bought missiles for the other folks, and they go to actually use those missiles and they freaking miss. And Jet goes, oh, the cheap ones are worthless. And it's like, that's sort of like, because one of the themes of Bebop is they're always broke. They're broke as hell. And they're always trying to get a bounty so they can pay their bills. So the idea that Jet sprung on some missiles and been like, yeah, we could actually do some things, and it just freaking fails. It's like, I just spent how much money on this thing and it doesn't even work.
That's how every single time I watch a million UEC torpedo fly at the Polaris and miss that freaking target, I could. Oh my days! I've heard from the grapevine, if you buy the upgraded better ones, then they actually hit pretty well and they're really, really effective. But I don't have like 26 million UEC to spend on refarming the damn thing yet.
Yeah.
Give me crafting, give me industry. Imperial Arms will generate enough revenue where I can do that all the time.
Or just build them yourself.
I'll build myself, exactly. I'll build my Imperial Arms special tracking ones. I'll give them better tracking chips or some stuff. I don't know. Anyway.
All right. Next question comes from Dow the Gamer, who asks, especially for Tomato, you have this nice spreadsheet for keeping up with what ships are being developed. How easy would it be for CIG to hide a larger ship in a monthly reports? I am so gaslit by CIG that they're making an Anvil beam corvette, and I'm looking for more rope to hang myself. Listen, I don't think they're going to make an Anvil beam corvette, but I do think they're going to make an Anvil railgun. That's just a ship built out of a railgun.
So basically, it's a Paris-class corvette. Frigate, sorry.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Bring it on, baby.
Tomato, do you think they could hide larger ships in the monthly reports?
Yes. With the way they talk about unannounced ships, yeah. I was just lamenting about this on the Streamathon yesterday when, because the spreadsheet is talking about as like every month when we do the monthly report, I have a list of all the ships that they've been working on, when they were introduced, when the last update we got on them was, what stage they're at, like all the info for everything. And so I have all of the ships that are named, which is simple and easy. It's just updating that every month when we go over it. But the unannounced ships are chaos. absolute chaos because there's no way to know if unannounced ship A is still unannounced ship A in the following month,
Yeah.
or if unannounced ship A is suddenly the Wolf being named, and the third unannounced ship that now shows up on that new monthly report is a new unannounced ship, or if it's the one that they talked about the month. It's like it suddenly I just have 8 unannounced ship on my spreadsheet, and I'm like, okay, which ones were announced now?
Yeah.
Help me out.
You can make a
But yeah.
guess, but like we can
Yeah.
guess that one of those ships is probably the starter salvager they talked about
Yeah, but
months ago. But
it like when you get the details, specifically when you put all the details down of what they say about them, they're so ambiguous. They're like, oh, it started its white box
yeah,
review.
or it's a variant.
It can
You
work,
know,
yeah, and there's nothing else. So they could hide a capital ship doing that. I don't think they would, but they can.
I don't think they were hiding a capital ship because they've said before that capital ships takes up a ton of their resources, and they're already building not a capital ship, but like the Kraken, yes, but they're also building the Polaris, and they're also building the Ironclad, and like they're building the Ironclad so they can build the Kraken, and the Kraken is definitely their attention.
He means Perseus, by the way.
Oh yeah, Perseus, not Polaris. Yeah, Perseus. You're right. I meant Perseus. It's not technically a capital ship. It's smaller than a hammerhead, but it's still
It uses the same tile set that they use for Polaris. I mean, you saw the elevator shaft shot from the recent report.
Yeah.
It's the same one from the Polaris.
Yes.
So they're using the same assets.
Yeah.
And it looks like a capital ship in concept art, so just give it to it.
Oh, it's scary. It looks scary. Every time someone actually
it's sexy.
So someone takes a look at it and they go, "Wait, how big is it?" It's like smaller than a hammerhead. They're like, "What?" It's like it's not.
Yeah.
It's only a
Weird.
couple meters like longer than a constellation. It's
Yeah,
like
it's 15 meters longer than a Connie, I think, something
Yeah.
like that.
It's technically
crazy.
smaller than a Carrack, which is weird.
yeah, but it looks like
Weird.
it's gonna eat your lunch from like a million miles away. Like it's got that mean look to it.
It's like short stack energy.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from MPCDN, who asks, Luke S. using Salty Mike shows, is this hurting the game? I'm going to say no. No. That's a reference I mentioned earlier, Luke S. Luke Stevens talking, because the specifically video he made when he was talking about like the update for Star Citizen, he was responding to a video title he saw of Mike and then went on a rant about it. And Mike
That's
is
the best way to spread news.
yeah. It was a clip of him. It was one of his clip thing. It wasn't like an actual video of him sitting down or just him just sort of going on a rant. And I don't think that blaming Mike for something that Luke did himself is fair, because Mike is also probably one of the more common people get their news from, other than people like Tomato, I would say. People probably, I don't know, probably similar in terms of like volume, in terms of like what you get in terms of views. And there are so many different ways you can get information about Star Citizen that Mike being somewhat critical of the game isn't gonna like hurt the game. The game hurts the game. That's not Mike's fault.
Yeah.
So
it was kind of a cell phone. Like, even if you support what they were doing, the way and time that they did it was just such a bad idea.
I think the video
It
was
was
specifically on.
bad.
It wasn't even on the blades. It was on. Oh, it was on the thing that I hated him for when they were saying, "Oh yeah, we didn't know that the freight elevators were going to be broken in the sites," and I even was like, "Are you crazy?"
It's a new one.
Yeah, it's a newer one. Like this was specifically about how when Jared said that we didn't know that the site the outposts were going to break, Mike and myself, because we both do frequently do like hauling missions, basically said bullshit. Those things have been broken since they were released, and that's what it was. It was basically, it's like you're just using an excuse that's totally fabricated. Like, you knew that. If we knew that, you knew that, because you can see us avoiding it for a reason, or how many people have abandoned missions to those locations. So, yeah, It's that I think blaming Mike is like killing the messenger. It's like that would have happened at some point anyways. Somebody else would have done it anyways. So
Yeah, I mean, Luke isn't gonna make something just because another creator made it. I mean, obviously the noise cascades and causes somebody else to see it more. But I mean, I talk to him fairly regularly. He's interested in the game. He's
yeah,
been following it for a long time, and he still follows it. So it's not like when a YouTuber makes a video, it's not necessarily just because of YouTube.
No.
A lot of times it's personal interest that they have, and I think that Luke is actually still pretty interested in the game. He just doesn't follow it that closely.
Yeah. The reason why it happened, well, I brought it up, and the reason it's happened in my community is because I actually watched it. I saw it, and I watched it live as a sort of just a. So it's interesting to see a perspective from somebody sort of outside the community. And I even said, like at the time, I've been following Luke S off and on for a while. Luke Stevens for off and on for a while, especially when he was talking about Starfield, and it's clear he knows Star Citizen and has been following enough to know all of the little cute nicknames we give things. So like he knows he's enough in the community that he understands the lingo of how we talk about it, which is something you don't see with creators outside of Star Citizen. Like another good example of that is, but he shows up every so often, is Burks, not Burks. There's too many Burks. There's Captain Burks, and then there's Burke. You know, the Burks. Is it Burks? Burks?
It's Black, isn't it?
Burke Black. Yes, thank you, Burke Black. Yeah,
Oh.
Burke Black, who does not play Star Citizen until there's a new thing coming on, and he comes on because Burke Black has been playing Star Citizen off and on for like 6 years. He will show up and be really knowledgeable about the game because he's played the game a lot. But if you look at him in his regular content, he wouldn't look like a Star Citizen fan because he just plays other games. But he'll bring
Pretty
in
much.
the late crew every so often to show off the stuff. And
There are a lot of people who are Star Citizen fans that just like
yeah,
you wouldn't expect. I've seen a lot of like YouTube channels that will like YouTube will tell you if you have recent followers that have YouTube subscribers, right? They'll like show you other YouTubers that follow, and I see YouTubers follow sometime, and I'm like, oh, they're interested in Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
wider than you might think.
And so as a result, like one YouTuber looking at another YouTuber and going, "Oh, this is interesting. Star Citizen's an interesting problem," is not a problem with like Mike or Luke. It's a problem that CIG made themselves. They made their own bed, and they can lie in it for now. And until they fix that problem themselves, it's not up to like the community to go attack Mike because Mike is just doing content. As I said many times before, Mike and I's opinions are almost always the same. It's just our presentation is a little different. That's it. So, like anyone who's talked to Mike in person knows that. He's just born. You can take the boy out of Jersey, but you can't take the Jersey out of the boy. That man is Jersey through and through, and it shows. So. And he's Jersey, and then he moved to Florida. So it's like a Jersey boy going to the hellspawn of America, and then
Jersey boy, Florida man.
Yes.
Whew, that's a combo.
Elaine Anderson asks, "What is your opinion on the upcoming medical changes?" That's a good question. Loken,
It is,
thoughts?
yeah. We both discovered the same sheets last night, actually, because we were live at the same time. Yeah, I am, for the most part, pretty positive about the changes. I think that there's some numbers that need to be adjusted and some prices that need to be fiddled with slightly. But overall, yeah, I'm glad to see that there's a plan both in the short and midterm that details how respawning and medical is going to change. You know, we've got the immediate addition of medical gel that needs to be applied to medical beds, and also distances between the different tiers that would basically mean that, you know, a tier 3 bed will only work to so many hundreds of meters, and the tier 1 bed will work very, very many more hundreds of meters, right? So I'm pleased that they're adding more nuance to it, and it's going to become less of just just backspace express respawn, you know, and just get back in it type thing, and actually it's going to become more of a, oh, okay, I'm down, and I really do need to wait for somebody to come pick me up because it's going to cost me a lot otherwise, you know? So I like that. But again, reading the numbers and looking at the things, I'm like, this is where we're at right now for 4.3.1, where we're gonna probably see a lot of changing and adjustment throughout the patch to try and I don't think that some of the, for example, the charges for healing just injuries are necessarily in the right place yet. And I will be very curious to see whether or not, I think I'm going to sort of steal what you said yesterday, Paul, which was you can see this the actual cost of the canisters going from 100k down to like maybe 20k once they're done with this. But I also liked their transparency and where they're intending to take the mechanic moving forward with the aggravating and mitigating circumstances they talked about, with the idea of there will be certain times where there might be no charge for it because they're giving themselves lots of switches and levers to pull for different events to have different types of spawning and a whole myriad of other changes that are coming in. And I think medical needed is a cool idea, and I like the idea of medical, so I'm always jazzed when they do more things with it. So yeah, overall positive, but would like to see where it goes. I want to play with it a bit, see how it sits.
I'll add on to this because there's another question to kind of lump into this. Sekru asked, since the medical bed is expensive and limited at the moment, do you think CIG should upgrade the med gun to be more proficient? Like being able to heal one tier 3 wound per ammo canister?
It's an interesting question, actually. I don't know. Not necessarily. I could see them doing it in the short term, but I don't think it would work with the long-term idea. I would want to... Okay, so... in my mind's eye, and correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, and and Marto, to correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to see the medical become a bit more in depth and actually like, oh, you've had an arm injury. Well, you could technically A, regrow it, B, do some sort of like flash thing or something else, or C, replace it with a bionic, and it'll cost different things and it'll have different benefits and disadvantages, and it'll be a bit more medical, not just like a fire beam. You're done. You're good. I'm hoping it'll have a bit more nuance to it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily feel like the medical gun doesn't underperform. I think the medical gun's fine, actually. So do I want to see it be able to do like a tier 1 repair?
Tier 3, yeah.
Oh, sorry, tier 3 repair. Sorry. Technically, I guess, because if you think about it, the actual injury they state is like you've torn an ligament, or you've got bad bruising somewhere if you've taken a shot like to the shoulder, right? So it's going to make things hurt more. So could you technically see a medical gun fixing that? Yeah, potentially, if you use the whole goddamn canister, maybe. You could, maybe they could do that. I don't know. It's a complicated one.
It's a balance question.
It's a balance, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a balance issue. Like, because I like it as well. I think dropping the cost of the canisters could help a little bit, at least in the short term, and then that'll change over time. And I really don't like the idea that it takes half of a canister to heal one wound. Whereas
I don't like that.
But it takes a full canister to regen an entire body. I'm like, that...
Isn't it half a canister to heal all injuries?
That could be it. It could be all injuries, but I remember seeing it was like one injury, but it may be half a canister per use. So if you have like your whole body is red and tier 3 and you go in there, it could just give that. But it seems a little...
It needs to be more nuanced than that. It really does. And it seems, as you say, it seems unbalanced right now.
Yeah. Because then...
It does, and
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Because then it's if it's like 50k for like per use, and then you only need your arm fixed, and it uses half the canister. It's like, well, now I'm not incentivized to fix my arm. I'm incentivized to get hurt more before I actually get fixed, and then risk getting a tier 2 and tier 1, which shouldn't be the case. So.
And then on the other side of things, because this is what makes it feel like a very respawn focused change rather than a medical change, is like you're still only getting 15k in payment if you fulfill a medical beacon. So if you have to go and for whatever, like if you're using this med gel, which I'm assuming if you're like stabilizing somebody or something in the gun, whatever you're using in the gun is going to work off the same pricing as whatever is in your ship. It starts to add up, and it feels like even if you do decide to heal someone with your ship, heal their injury, that's essentially 50,000 credits you're out, right?
Yeah.
With that one heal, if you decide that they need to get that healed, could just leave them with all their injuries. But at that point, you're getting 15k for completing the beacon, but you're paying 50,000 to renew the resource. Like,
that's a good point.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's a balance issue. I like the idea. I love what they're doing with it, and I want to see its evolution. But it's currently just the balance is off, and I think they'll find a good space for it. So Space,
Yeah, this will be very important for them finding it.
Space, your thoughts on it?
I'm glad that it's expanding. Like I said, I would be interested in knowing if this is taking medical gameplay into account or if this is more just a respawn kind of change. I'm also kind of feeling like the way that they're talking about this might mean that they've gone about as deep as they want to with medical stuff. Like even when they talked about the future of medical, it seems like a lot of that is going to be based more around just more missions and beacons working and stuff like that, as opposed to, I know a lot of people want there to be a little bit more of an involved process in taking care of injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just, with the way that they're talking about the game and the way they want to roll things out and get things going, a potential date of 2028,
Yeah.
like how many more times can they loop back around and handle medical gameplay in a big way again?
Yeah.
Is this like their big, this is it, and
I
we're just
think
going to focus on drugs and injuries as how it's complicated?
I do think that's how it's going to work. I mentioned this earlier that I think that what CIG's focus on is 1.0. And anything that is not getting them to 1.0 is going to be sidelined. But I could see CIG post 1.0 going with an entire patch that's just based off of expanding the medical gameplay or expanding exploration. So they just like focus, they could just take the gameplay team and go focus. Because right now they're so scattered with everything they have to do that it's just sort of like just takes what they have, everything they have to keep things going, to do what they need to do. But if they actually got the 50 to 100 people who work on that team just to sit down and go, let's focus on regen and medical gameplay, then I think they could do that better. But that's a post 1.0 thing.
Yeah.
So
Do you think that's gonna?
I think, yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, you think? Are you worried about that hurting the long-term design of the game?
No.
That they are making things based on a lack of people rather than time they need.
No. I think as long as the fundamentals are there, because I don't think the fundamentals would change even if they had more nuanced stuff. Yeah. Like a tier 3 injury, a tier 2, and tier 1 are going to be the same. And it's just a matter of how you treat that injury. Right now, it's sort of it needs to be a profession and it needs to be able to work as a gameplay loop, but it's also needs to be simple enough so that your average person can engage in it without having to like have complicated things, but benefit of having a medic with you, sort of thing. And I think that's a solid use. That's what Elite Dangerous did. That's how Elite Dangerous worked, which is just like, let's get the base in, and then we'll complicate it later. We'll figure out what we need to do later to expand it. And it's worked well for them, and it's worked well for No Man's Sky. So I think that sort of focus on getting a solid product out and then improving upon it later is better than, because maybe they have ideas, they just haven't decided which way they want to go specifically, and they're just going, let's focus on this right now. So,
do you think that they will remove the auto drug button from the medical tool
eventually? Yeah.
Probably, I'd hope so.
Yeah. Or have some consequence for it. So like, you use it more med gel, or it has a chance of overdosing you, or something. So. All right. Dow the Gamer asks, the medical post from today, CIG mentions melee damage. Where is our melee combat, and why aren't we allowed to cut each other up yet? Well, you have a knife, A, but B, CIG and Space Tomato might be able to back me on this. I don't know if you did a lot of the Squadron stuff for the monthly reports, but like a while ago, CIG talked about how they did an entire melee focused build of NPCs. Yeah. So there's an entire NPC group that's not Vanduul, but humans who use melee weapons. And we've seen them put melee weapons in the game in terms of props, so like swords. So we could see swords coming into the game. And the number of 40K fans that are at CIG just tells me, and of course Star Wars fans, tells me that they're going to add melee weapons for players to use. It's going to be a thing.
There was a video that the weapon features team put out last year. Remember, they went out and they talked about like some of the Volt weapons, the crossbow, some of the stuff they were working on for Squadron. In the background, in the B-roll of those shots, was so much handheld weaponry.
Yeah,
like there were so many knives and swords and cleavers and stuff if you go back through there. So I definitely think that's a focus in Squadron for sure. And I could see it coming to Star Citizen.
I think that's the key. Is that there was a focus for Squadron, and now they're moving it into Star Citizen. and so they're slowly being added. But like the melee animations and attacks for a single player game are very different from when you're trying to attack somebody else with a sword who lives on the other side of the planet. There's gonna be some desync there. So, what do you think, Loken? Where is our melee combat? And
I look. I'll look forward to it when it comes because I do genuinely believe it's coming. But I will also giggle as I do my own impression of Indiana Jones, where I will just get a pistol out and go bang,
Yeah.
and that guy will go down, and I'll just be like, "You brought a knife to a gunfight, son. What the hell do you expect?" Because we live in a universe, we have starships and freaking laser guns, my friends. But as a massive, enormous 40k fan, yes, I do want my sword so I can drive closer and hit people with them.
yes, we're screaming about it outside of a tank. We just need to be able to turn out of the tank, CIG. Let me turn out with a sword and I can swing it around.
We may have spaceships and laser guns, Loken, but the NPCs have taught me that ramming is still a very good and effective strategy in this game.
Yeah, ain't wrong there, buddy. You ain't wrong there.
I still believe that the gameplay is mostly focused on like things like short, small quarters combat. I still think there's a place in this game for a ballistic shield and a boarding axe. So
Oh my god, yes.
So you can just sprint down corridors with a shield so you can take some hits and then just start smacking them with your axe to prevent them from going. So
all I'm thinking of now is Imperial Fist supporting teams.
Yes.
It's just like a testudo freaking formation of just like dudes like this with bolt guns. Can you imagine like raiding a freaking Op 4 ship like that? You get out the Legionnaire and you just got boarding shield up, gun, clack, clack, clack.
Yeah.
You're gonna be unassailable. It'll
Yeah.
be awful, but great. It'll be fantastic.
Just grenades. That would just be a hail of grenades thrown at that immediately. All right. Next question comes from Rubensaurus, who asks, "Do you think we'll see Nyx this year, either in EPTU or live?"
There's rumblings.
Yes.
There's rumors. I think maybe.
I will start off because I think I have the most controversial take because I think it's the most probable take, but I also think that I also could be wrong considering the rumblings. I think that CIG will release next year. They'll release it in like March, but they'll do like a Nyx neighborhood or a Nyx next door or something like that, like they did with the Pyro Playground. Some alliteration with Nyx, and it'll just be it'll just be Nyx the system.
Yeah.
And you'll just fly around and play around so you can test it and show all the cool new places you can go. For like a month or a week, and then in a tech preview, and then we'll not see it again until March. So
yeah, I think you're probably right. I think you're probably exactly right. It worked for Pyro, they'll do it again.
Some kind of testing this year, maybe, but I think putting it into the actual game, I don't know. I don't feel like they need that. Like, it's a big hype move, and they don't need it this year. They can wait.
No, they could.
When has CIG ever waited?
But I think
they don't wait.
I think they're definitely showing it off at CitizenCon.
No, they have to wait.
Yeah.
I'm saying, when do they choose to wait?
Yeah.
of their like 2-hour presentation, a good chunk of it probably will be on Nyx.
Yeah. I imagine. I mean,
why is it so short? By the way, why is the presentation so dang short this year?
Well, because in the previous years when they did them, they do about like a 20-30 minute presentation on stage, and then they have a lot of like back and forths and stuff. If you took out all of them talking on stage and all of the filler stuff, you'd probably fill about 3 to 4 hours of video.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. It just feels shorter, you know?
Yeah. So
I think
what they do is they just take like a bunch of people doing TED Talks on stage for 9 hours, and then cut out all of the talking and just edit it, and then they'll take it down to like a couple of hours. So
all of the mentions of immersion,
yes,
and bespoke,
and all the joking they do on stage with each other, and Jared coming out and doing little like do transitions and stuff like that.
Falling over and twisting his ankle.
Yes.
Poor guy. Oh, I feel so sorry. He did it. He did all the tours around the Manchester office afterwards too.
Oh,
I could see him wincing. I could see him wincing in pain after 2 days, and I was there as the first tour group that went through, and I was just like, I want to say, buddy, it's okay. Take a
God,
look.
was it that bad?
He did all of them, every single group he did them. Like,
He is a trooper.
Hats off. Oh god, yeah.
I think they want to be seen more seriously. I think from the no concept ship sales to the way they're doing their updates to trying to get the game more playable, and then like maybe sitting back a little bit on CitizenCon and possibly doing something that looks more like a traditional game company's showcase of what they're working on. It seems like they all trying to make it feel a little more serious and ready before the Squadron 42 release.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from Minty Fizz,
Mintmeister.
who says, Medigel, goo, people or not people?
People.
They're not people. There'll be a bootleg version that'll be people. And it'll just be like it'll be the Banu version. The Banu.
It's nanomachines, son. It's nanomachines.
Yeah. Yes, that is true. They are actually nanomachines. That is the lore. Is that they're nanomachines carried by light into your body. With that each carry specific medicine. So
Nanomachines, son.
Of course, dude.
Next question.
You don't understand this? Nanomachines.
Nanomachines. Escape asks, what new features do you expect to have been on the long slow burn that may be released by year's end? Nothing.
Sorry,
Go ahead. I was saying nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Maybe scanning and Vulcan and the new AI stuff, but the AI stuff isn't features. So like scanning would be my guess.
I could have seen them doing a test for crafting.
Yeah.
I think they got most of the stuff they need for it.
They just got a prototype
Yeah.
playing in a multiplayer environment. Like they don't even.
The monthly report mentions that like they just started doing prototyping of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I must have missed that bit. Right. Fair enough. Yeah, belay that last then. I'll stick with the Nick's playground thing.
Before this last monthly report, I would have been with you. I'm like, yeah, of course, totally. They talked about how like it was in, they had gotten everything that they showed off at CitizenCon playable, and they were just more about like figuring out. But it's like now it's like, oh yeah, we just finished building the blueprint system, so it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So
How about base building though? Rumor has it that base building might come before crafting.
I don't think so. Because basically,
I think they're too intrinsic.
Yeah,
they're so linked. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I want base building badly, but even I'm like, I don't know.
I don't think it would be this year. I just mean like before crafting.
Yeah. I think we're gonna see something new, and they might go like Hail Mary and go engineering and scanning out before the end of the year. But like,
no, they're not even an EPTU yet, man. Come on, don't do that.
Well, it's also CIG. CIG can't help but like throw something out there at the very end because they're like, well, we got it, so it's close to being done. Let's just do it. So I could see them doing a Hail Mary EPTU and just let it sit in the servers for like 2 months before they actually release it next year. But
yeah, I don't know, man. They haven't used the EPTU, and like, if we're going off of what they say and the expectations they try to set, if they haven't put a feature, any of these big features we've been waiting for through the EPTU, then they're not showing up.
Yeah.
Fair play.
All right. Next question comes from Dell, who asks, Wicklow is a single source of deals is the issue. Would Jorit be a good alternative to Wicklow? I really want that EE6 electron cannon. Real question. What are Wicklow equivalents which you would want in game? I've actually pitched this before. Huh?
Guilds.
Guild
vendors.
I've pitched this idea before in terms of sandbox, which is other than the events, the convention centers are pointless. They're just there. So make the convention centers worthwhile, and every weekend you have a flea market or some sort of like junk place where like you have like vendors who come in and sell rare goods at that location.
Ooh, that would be cool.
And you could sell things there. So, it rotates every week. So 1 week it's in Hurston, 1 week it's in ArcCorp, 1 week it's in Crusader, then ArcCorp, then Microtech, and it resets every week. So you have to go there. So it would encourage people to log on and be like, oh, I can go get those pearls so I don't have to harvest them. I can go to those.
Like a less shit version of Borrow from Warframe.
Yeah, exactly.
Freaking Borrow trader would go to the different, the little gate, the space station things, and then bring something every week. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot.
But yeah,
I
as
think
you
that's
said,
really, really cool.
guild, you get rep, you have to go.
Yeah,
you can
guild.
go.
I just want there to be a permanent like guild vendor in the systems that represents the major pillars of starters and gameplay, and maybe like a UEE vendor, and also a pirate vendor that utilizes and leverages the pre-existing reputation system to give you access to certain rare stocks.
Yeah.
You know, I just think it
Reputation.
would be great. You know,
Wow.
I know what's that.
Oh yeah, I was
Sounds
also
pretty
going to
cool,
say
man.
that idea that I had of the wandering like flea market.
Yeah.
Also make it a player trade location, so you can like.
Oh my God,
you
yes.
can put your what you want to sell in that location, and then
Yep.
people could buy it from there. So you just
It's happening right now. UEX has has a freaking whole page where they just sell weapons and things.
just
Not illegally, just buy it with the UEC. You know.
and you can do it. You can just do it with like a console. Like go to the open marketplace, and you just go to the console, and you can choose what you want to buy and not buy, and or you want to sell some stuff, and you just make sure you have it stored in the local inventory with the what are they called, the freight elevators. So
yeah,
and you're done. You know,
that'd be great. That'd also be really cool.
There was an AI on the roadmap for a little while. Just kind of disappeared, never showed up.
That guy.
It was called the traveling dealer, I think. Illegal goods dealer. And basically it was supposed to be an AI that showed up in random places around the game and was able to sell you things you couldn't find in normal stores, and he would just randomly disappear. And like, it's on the progress tracker, you can look it up. It's still there. It hasn't shown up yet, but they have the ideas. They're definitely going to do it at some point.
Also, for those of you who don't know, the EE6, the EE6 is this famous weapon that ASD made, which they did this big glorious show to show it off, and so they had a ship equipped with it, and it was like a hammerhead they were shooting it at, and the ship the weapon was so good that it overpenetrated the hammerhead and hit a ship that was filled with observers.
God damn it! Do they do anything good?
So like it was so good. It was extra good, but it killed a lot of folks. So they were like, whoops.
I feel like that's on whoever put the observer ship behind the target ship.
Yeah.
Right? That's like stationing a bunch of like military observers at the other end of the end that you're firing the gun at. Like,
Just test this bomb
But-
down the street from that school.
But the whole thing was, it was a huge deal, and then ASD said like, I'm not fucking leaving. Like this is absolutely what we intended to do. Yeah, we didn't want to kill people, but like it shows how cool it is. And the UEE military quietly walked up and said, "How much, please? How much? I'll take your whole stock, please." So that's how ASD has managed to like avoid turmoil, was because like every time they screw up in a way that's like, oh, but this could be useful. And so the government is like, please give us the weapon of mass destruction you just built by accident. So
I love that so much. That's so great.
They failed upwards, which is
failed successfully. There you go.
Captain Shigero asks, do you think the year of playability will set an unreasonable precedent going forward that the community will hold to until 1.0? Basically, do you think they're going to be able to do every month a new patch?
I think they could potentially do it. I think as they get more people off of Squadron, whether it's wraps and they focus now on SC, then yeah, see that happening. I don't know. It's not necessarily say it's going to set insurmountable expectations. I mean, if they just do what they're doing now next year, then
yeah,
you know, it's no, they're no more or less a bit effort than what they're currently doing. I don't know. What do you boys think?
I think that's entirely possible, because the thing is the combo of new patch and ship doesn't mean that the patch has to be like amazing. You know, 4.3 is just the Onyx facilities, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but in comparison to like Hathor and Stormbreaker and all of the other stuff we've gotten, it's sort of just that. Because we also got, with a lot of those other places, we got like new locations, new minables. We got like one of those, we got Wicklow. You know, we've gotten, you know, new rare events like the Hunt the Polaris one, and like a lot of these we've had a lot of other things attached to it. But with a couple of them, there was just new mission type and some armor and shit, and like they do freaking record numbers with those, even with those. So it just shows that people want content regularly and new stuff every so often. So
Yeah,
pretty much.
I don't think that they're gonna keep up this many updates, or if they do, I think they're gonna be like little patches, like you're saying, like we used to. It's easy to forget that we have always had a patch almost every month. It's just that most of the time they didn't really bring anything into the game other than some bug fixes and helping to stabilize the major patches that were quarterly. So I think they'll keep up with that.
That was the entirety of that 1 year. It was like 4.2, where like we were, or 4.2,
317.
317, yeah.
Yeah.
Where, like really, it was like a patch a week, a patch a month for since like July of that year or June of that year. But because they couldn't call it 318, they just called 317 whatever. So.
Yeah.
We got to like .5 or 6, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think they'll do that. And I think the expectations players have now isn't even based around that. I think it's more just based around the fact that the game is like flowing. It doesn't feel like it's 1 month cool update, and then we wait a month, and then that third month in the cycle suddenly it's okay. Evocati news, hype is there, patch update comes, people get frustrated, people get excited, then we go back to another month of waiting. Like it's just been month after month after month because they've kept content coming in, and I think that'll still be the case. I just don't think it's going to be quite like this year.
All right, so the next question is another meme question from Escape, who asks, considering your Loken's current stream platform, what dances does he do?
It's a reference to the TikTok thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this, okay? I have a redemption thing on Tangier, right? Which is for Caramel Dancing, you know, the freaking anime thing. It is the full freaking song, the full 3 minutes and stuff, and it costs a ton. But I've been known to get up and do the dance of that. Now, I would demonstrate, but as you may have seen, my foot's not doing so hot right now. So I think dancing would probably be detrimental. But there you go. Caramel dancing. So come on in at some point.
Yeah, I got to drop by. I don't even have TikTok. It goes through to your Twitch stream, right? We still get to see that? Cool.
Gin and Tonic asks, happy fun time? You know what it means. Don't sit here and pretend you don't know what happy fun time means. All right? Sergeant Perry asks, what are your thoughts on the last two CitizenCon tease ships?
CitizenCon. Oh, the silhouettes, I think he's talking about.
Yeah. God, I did an entire video on that. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Loken?
What have we not got? We've got that weird asymmetrical thing that is clearly Drake that we haven't seen yet.
And then there's the one that's
that really,
like
really flat thing.
Yeah, the flat one. Those are the ones that are left.
Okay. Obviously, it's Drake, the one that's asymmetrical. It's so obviously the design language from a Corsair, it's untrue. As for the flat thing, though, I don't know. I don't know what the hell it could be. I'll be real with you. I don't know what either of them could be. I haven't seen them in a while. Let me grab them real quick.
They're actually, if you go up on our in the like group chat we're in right now, if you go up, it'll Execute posted all three of them. It's just above the one we're talking through.
In general.
Yeah. No, in the one we're talking through. Do you see the one? If you go from just scroll up from our chat.
Oh, sorry. I've actually got the question thing up right now. So the other one.
Yeah.
Give me a tick. Let me find it. But if someone else want to take that in the meantime.
Yeah, I think it's the flat boy is probably a CNOU ship, and there's also one more. I think one of them is an Anvil Atlas chassis variant of some kind. I don't know.
It's an Anvil Medevac.
Yeah. Almost certainly, just two size 3s instead of one size 3.
Yeah, I think it's an Anvil Medevac. Right? Yes, I see it now. God only knows what that asymmetrical thing is. It's so strangely sized, and it looks so awkward. I have no idea what it is.
Looks like a chopped up Corsair sitting on top of a Reclaimer landing gear.
Yeah.
At a push, a heavy fighter maybe, a similar size to like the MX from Mirai. That kind of idea of this. It can be a solo ship you can live out of vibe. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. It's a weird one.
I would say it's a ground miner because we don't have like the Pioneer is the first one that we'll have that I can actually like extract resources from the ground. But that means it wouldn't be coming out this year because they don't have that feature in the game yet. So
I think it's
really
a
want to
hauler.
know what the flat boy is though.
I think this might be a hauler of some kind. I don't know. I mean, there's only boxes around it in its picture, boxes and barrels, industrial packaging and
Yes.
stuff like that. There's no missiles, there's no guns, there's no refinery or anything like that.
yeah.
I can see it being potentially, and this is just hear me out here. Obviously it's quite a low profile ship, right? So
This flat boy.
I could almost see it being a bit like how a modern day container ship works. We just need to kind of stack them on top of it, and you can have so much high, if you get meaning. So kind of like a reverse of the rafts in way of doing things.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think
it would
it's
explain the flatness.
I think it's a CNOU at least because that's very along
Yeah, the
that
flat one.
lines.
Yeah. It reminds me of the what is it called? Nova or something, that the ship that they use to fly down to different locations in Mass Effect 2.
Yes.
Oh, the
shuttle.
Kodiak.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little shuttle. Looks like that
The
to me.
Kodiak shuttles, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. Kodiak.
This is a cool.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is a Kodiak shuttle because CIG is known to just be like, this is cool. Let's make it in our own style. So
I want that. I will be down for that. I'll have a couple of my Idris hanger. Thank you.
Space Tomato 2 asks, question, Paul, do you think CIG will ever do another holiday stream?
God, don't pay attention to that guy. He's such a poser.
No, because the last one was such a garbage fire. It's not as much of a garbage. I've watched it since then. The first 15 minutes is a garbage fire. After that, it gets sort of boring after the end.
Can I be weird and say I haven't seen this? How is it a garbage fire?
So the 2016 live stream, holiday live stream, was where it was the infamous video where you saw Jared and Lederhosen.
I haven't seen Jared and Lederhosen.
Oh God, you haven't seen these
How
images?
have I not seen?
It's one of the few. So it's one of the few videos that CIG has removed from their YouTube and refused to put it back.
I love that.
Yeah, it is one of the few. And every time I bring it up, when I meet with Star Citizen developers, especially if I see Tyler, I bring it up, and Tyler's like, "Why do you want to keep that up?" It's like, "Because I want to embarrass you, Tyler. I want to embarrass you from now until the end of time. Okay, it's one of the few things I have over you. God damn it." But it's
got to play that at the launch party.
Yeah, if you do 2016, if you just look up 2016 live stream, the holiday live stream, a bunch of people have uploaded versions of it.
Fantastic. I will.
But it is technical problems galore all the time. There's a famous image of Sandy kind of being like, "God damn it," because they cut to her the cut to the wrong camera when she was off. She was sitting there like, and she has a green screen behind her, which is not green screened. So it's Sandy doing this on a green screen. And someone famously cut in a GIF of like Terminator 2 Judgment Day, like in the background of like everything on fire with her going. I think I have that GIF somewhere.
That's his peak. That is absolutely peak.
At one point, they cut to Jared and Tyler for no reason. And they're just standing there. And so Tyler just rolls with it and decides to do it as an MVP announcement and just comes up with an MVP announcement out of his ass at the moment because they didn't have one. So he just gave somebody MVP who he saw who had done something cool. So yeah, like lots of blanks of like radio silence where no one knows if they're supposed to talk or not.
That's amazing.
And yeah,
You've come a long way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tomato, you're talking about the narrative sort of videos that you see from like DayZ stuff. They try to do one of their own, but it was pre-scripted, and it was the QA team, and it involves Security Point Korea. So,
like the classic, anywhere from 2010 to 2020.
Group
E3 demonstration
where they have the same four people being like, "Oh yeah, have you done this? Yeah, let's go over here." Like they're trying to.
And it was so the rage.
Yeah,
I still remember the Anthem demo was like the worst of it.
Oh God, it was terrible, and also Division did it horribly too.
I do have a rewatch stream of it. I watched it a couple years ago. I want to make it a regular thing where, here's the thing. I want to bring in many, other content creators and raise money for charity while we drink and watch it together.
Well, here's
Back
the
of their
thing, Paul. All right,
embarrassment.
I'll do your deal. Okay, I'll not watch it until you do that, and
Okay.
then bring me on, and I'll give you my.
July 25th, Christmas in July is when I want to do it.
I will be that new person who's never seen it before, and you can see my horror live.
I got to be there for that. I want to watch that.
July 25th. I'm gonna
great.
try to get people on and just to hang out and raise money for charity as I will be drinking heavily while watching the whole thing and being like, woo. The last time I did it, Tyler literally came on and said, "Why do you do this?" And it's like, "Because I want to see you suffer, Tyler. That's why."
You feel the pain you have made me feel.
Cringemas in July. There you go.
Cringemas in July. Yeah, so that's what it was called. Gregson asks, "What feature or announcement are you expecting at CitizenCon?" Nix. Yeah. They're going to show off Nix.
It'll be Nix.
Yeah.
100%.
I will. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I want to go back to what I said earlier about them wanting to be a more serious company. I really hope that they just have a very good demo showcase planned for Nyx that's just like gameplay. Something that the average gamer can watch, you know? The average gamer couldn't really get into CitizenCon over the last several years and learn more about the game. It was kind of hard to get through everything, but they need to put out something that's just like a nice 30-minute segment of gameplay that you can probably get in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Just keep it short term.
I want to go home, CIG. All right. Levski is home. I want to go home. You took it away from me.
So I'm going to find you now.
Can I ask a weird, really tangential question off that?
Sure.
What do you think I know this is an insane question to ask, but what do you think the next like 2 to 3 systems after Terra will be?
Ooh, good question.
Bremen, and Odin. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely put Odin in. I just had that thing from Squadron 42 come out.
And
it's important.
I want Magnus too, but I think
Magnus.
There's if you look at the direction from Vega to Odin, it goes through Bremen. There's a jump point from Vega to Bremen, from Bremen to Nyx, and from Nyx to Odin.
Wait, Vega does not go directly to Odin.
No.
Oh, so it's like literally just the opening of the games in Vega, huh?
Yes.
I see. Yeah. So Vega's not going to be done at all.
No. But like Bremen is at least must be partially there, unless they just completely skip it and just like cutscene it away. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did something with Bremen. And Bremen is connected to Nyx, which is also connected to Terra. So like it's got one of those like spiderly. It's one of those really important systems in lore too, and they've done a lot of work with it. And it's the headquarters of CNOU, and CIG loves putting in the headquarters of ships. They do in game. So
I am looking forward to seeing Kruger's headquarters.
Yes, and of course, as Space Tomato, I believe I as a Magnus boy at heart, I want Magnus. I've
got so many excuses for Magnus to come next.
It's Drake. God damn it! It's literally next to Stanton.
It's in the best location in the UEE. You can't get better.
Yeah, and it's connected to Ellis, so you could go from there to Ellis, and everyone loves Ellis. So.
Ellis, Terra, and Stanton. Like, what 3 other systems should you be connected to?
You just really want to go to Drake's headquarters.
It doesn't. It'd be great.
Yeah, to watch Krakens being built. Yeah.
No, not to watch Krakens being built, to watch them being stolen, because that's how a ship is taken from. That's how you don't buy one.
You just steal it.
The thing is, you steal it, and then the next person who owns it has stolen it from the previous owner. Yeah. That's how it works with Drake.
And somehow Drake gets paid at some point.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, yeah.
They steal the money.
Yeah, they'll steal the money back from the person. There you go. You recognize you've stolen our ship. Here, we'll steal your money.
Okay, so this is a spoiler alert. In one of the Onyx logs, they were mentioning about genetic modification on humans. Could this be a small hint with player skills? No, I think it's just a story. Maybe.
I like that notion, but I don't think they need to be that in depth to just have player skills. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can just get better at doing something by doing the thing.
Yeah. But
it's a cool one, Steak. I like that idea.
Mopar asks, Has there been a steady performance increase on the game during this year? Now, you're talking to at least two people who just updated their PCs. So we both had the experience of going from, it's all right, to like face blastingly brand new graphics and everything. Like I've got a 9070 XT and Loken has a 5080.
Damn.
Yeah, and
Well, I had 200 FPS in Onyx facility yesterday.
yes, I today, yeah,
What?
200 FPS. Yeah,
Don't ask me how, but it happened.
I had 200 FPS
What?
just before I streamed, before
What?
we did this. Yes, in PTU.
Well, it's
I
because
didn't know that
we
many
both
frames
got
existed.
Yeah.
we both got X3D chip
Yes.
CPUs as well,
We have
which
the same
really does the heavy lifting.
We have the same CPU. So yeah.
Which
Yeah,
one?
there you go. It does a huge amount of heavy lifting.
Ryzen
The
7
X3D
9800 X3D. Yeah. Like the best gaming you can get.
Yeah,
That's standalone.
yeah, that's about as good as it gets for
1440?
Stars.
Yeah. Loken may hit 4K, but I'm 1440.
I'm 1440 ultra wide though, so I'm like 2.5K.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't
Still
want to go 4K right now.
200 frames per second.
Yes.
What the hell?
It was weird, man. It feels super tight. It's all when I was going through it, I was like, this is like what Squadron is going to feel like, isn't it?
Yeah, it was weird.
yeah.
I was very scared.
You actually do get scared because like the like random lights that are just flickering, they're like perfectly flickering, and it's flickering off the reflections of water is pooling on the ground, and like, oh,
Yep, everything's moving, and like the breeze is making stuff move, and you're like, whoa, everything's working. What the
Yeah.
hell?
So for us, yes, definitely performance and boosts, but I don't know how much that is because we got new gear or if it's just because the game
I think-
improved.
A lot of the lads in my community have been saying they've generally seen an uplift in performance overall. I have been making different updates and improvements over time, and also this whole idea of year stability has also meant graphical stability. So it's not perfect because it's still it's far too CPU and memory bound, but it's definitely improving. They'll improve immensely when they get Vulkan in properly. My God, at that point, all bets are off. It's going really freaking good.
Things keeps breaking for whatever reason. My Fitbit.
Got down 150 FPS and 4K. Golly, dude.
That's crazy.
Space Tomato, how about you? Have you seen an increase in performance?
Yeah, I have, and actually, one of the editors for my YouTube channel is 10#42, and he does a lot of benchmarking for Star Citizen. So we talk about it like constantly, almost every week. And he's definitely confirmed like FPS in this year has gone up. It's been up and down throughout the different patches, but overall it's been going up. And I would say that performance has definitely improved, but there's still very glaring issues that I think kind of hide it. Like it makes people not really pay as much attention to the things that have improved. So you end up having people who are still like, oh, this is year of performance, year of stability, year of playability, but they've done literally nothing. And you're like, okay, well, they've done something, and I think it's the best improvement in the game we've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
From at any point they've been developing this game, so they're hitting a steady improvement, and I hope it keeps going.
All right, I'm gonna skip some of these meme questions because we've got a lot of questions left, and I want to try to get through them. Like someone's asking,
we love your memes. We've read them, but
yeah. Does Loken know any machinima producers that would produce a video mocking his favorite vehicle, the Tumbril Storm? No, but I would definitely do a Banu commercial riffing on it. Be like, this awful, this ship not good. What you need is weapon. Would you like the Ikti, the weapon? Problem with the mother-in-law?
And it needs to be as corny as the Quarks advert from DS9. It needs to be that bad.
Yes.
It needs to be that bad.
Idiocracy asks, with the emphasis on crafting in recent communications, do you think we'll see some in some form by the end of the year? We already answered that. No, probably not. Well, they'll probably show it off, but I don't think we'll see it in game.
Yeah,
just because
accurate.
Them just still doing prototypes is the rough part. Like, it's good. It means it's in that it's moving towards release. So like 6 months from now, yeah, for sure. But end of the year, 3 months, I don't know. Maximum Casey asks, do you think we'll get more news about NPC crews if they will expand the mechanic to hiring NPCs at bases and settlements and space stations at CitizenCon? We actually have information on it because they basically said that that's not a plan they're doing until after 1.0. So
That makes sense.
yeah.
There's a lot of other moving parts that need to be in place before that can come to fruition. I want to see it, but yeah.
I don't know what Shoy is talking about. Are you concerned about what are you concerned about that with the release? Oh, okay. He talks about it later. How far do you believe base building is? Tomato?
I think we could see something. I think we could see something in like a testing form in the next 5 to 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. They seem to have quite a good handle on what they wanted to do with it during last year's CitizenCon. It wasn't a small presentation. It was a fairly well thought out, statement of intent. So I kind of echo what Space is saying there. So I agree.
It'll release like how they're doing engineering though.
Yeah.
In small parts.
It'll be in small parts. Yeah.
You can build your little shack out in the corner, and I know Loken, because Loken loves his base building. Mr. Architect will build a entire town out of those tiny shacks. With a functioning like mail system and running water and.
It'll be great. It'll be fantastic.
And then he'll sit there and be like, "It's not pretty enough. I need to figure out how to make it better. We'll delete the whole thing. I'm gonna fix it. I'll fix it again."
I've just done that in June. I've just had the boys take down one of the 2 mega bases I made in June because I'm like, there are new parts coming out in the next update. Oh boy, I'm coming back to build more.
I can't wait to wait for the Moon War over 5 shacks.
Are you gonna play some Dune again?
I will at some point. Yeah, I know that it's getting new updates coming out. So,
all right, when you do, let us know.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from Cardivan Splotch, who asks, "I really miss my Revel in York hangar. When do you think I'll get it back? Probably with 1.0. The problem is just like they have to figure out how to let you choose your hangar type, because right now it's just you just go to your hangar, like choose your hangar outline. So
I don't know. I could see it being sooner than that because they've got everything mostly in place for that to exist. They've got the hangars. We're even spawning in hangars now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll take a Hail Mary and say it'll be before that, before 1.0, but I don't think it'll be immediate. And I don't think it's a priority right now.
Yeah.
This is more of a vanity thing. But for the record, I am also a Revel in York enjoyer. So yes, I want my not Rolls Royce hangar back, please.
Tomato, when do you think we're gonna get
when we do see it happen? I really hope it comes with an overall attempt to have like a system surrounding hangars, so you can select a location, and then you can go into that location's catalog, and you can select like the type of hangar that you want. How much space does it have? What kind of services does it offer? Do you want to rent it or do you want to buy it? Those kinds of things. And I feel like that's a 1.0 sort of thing. Obviously, it has to come in before 1.0, but I do think it's a long ways out. But I don't know if they've said anything about that recently, the idea of owning and renting hangars and like how the persistence of them would work and how many you can have throughout the verse. But I would love to hear more about it sometime soon.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a handful of questions left. We can go through most of them pretty quickly. Washoy asks, there's actually, there's a little less than that because I see some people just doing that. And someone asked, what's worse, the Storm or the Mule? We already answered that one. Off topic, but though for those present, do you think the Storm and the Nova need a reconcept?
Yes.
Yeah. A little bit.
Yes, 100%.
A little.
I don't think the Nova Tech needs a reconcept. I think it needs a rework.
Yeah.
Because fundamentally, as a tank, it doesn't work well enough. It is too big. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily too big because it's got to be a environmentally support sealed vessel that can operate on multiple planets. So maybe the size isn't the problem, but things like, for example, the top-mounted crow's gun does not depress low enough to engage infantry. The main cannon's depression is terrible, so I can't engage things when I'm cresting over a small hill, for example, etc., ad infinitum. So yeah, it definitely needs some work, but I think the Tumbril Nova is a much better tank concept than, say, for example, the Storm.
Yeah.
Which just needs to be taken back to the drawing board and redone.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah.
How you feel?
just go back to the beginning of the stream there, Tomato. You can hear it there. Idiocracy asks, question, lore-wise, is there a planet where there might be possible that ground transportation is the only option? Like, is there a space elevator that take you down to the surface? Maybe not.
That'd be cool.
Maybe not space elevator, but there's definitely places like Fora. Fora is pretty infamous for its hyperclay storms, where it's like clay, but worse. So,
really?
Yes. It's like all of the ground is clay. Like it's a really big problem in Fora. It was messed up. Terraforming was messed up. It's one of the very first planets we actually terraformed.
Oh, they screwed up the biosphere.
Yeah.
They didn't do it right.
So it's now just dust. Most of it is dust.
Oh.
And the place that aren't dust is clay. So and it gets winds that can get up to like hurricane strength. So it rips up the ground, and it just flings chunks of clay at you as you're going through. Oh my gosh! So yeah, it's pretty dangerous. In fact, it's infamous because it's where the eclipse was tested, because nobody wanted to live there. So no one wants to really live there. So they just they built a base in the middle of nowhere and tested the eclipse where no one could see it because it's a Fora.
That makes sense. Yeah. I could see jungle planets being that way too, because obviously we had all that jungle biome stuff that they showed off last year. You're not landing a ship in that, so vehicles, tracks, that kind of thing could be a vibe.
Oh yeah, and Axis is talking about like the Newcastle's off limits in Berea and in Magnus, so you could just drive there possibly. Yeah, there could definitely be places, and I think storms are the big thing. Storms will be the thing that's like, hey, you can't land here, but you can drive a tank through it or a cyclone or something, because
I want roads.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's off topic, but I want roads.
You and the entire community, and CIG doesn't understand that. I don't think they fundamentally understand why the community wants roads.
I don't really know why people want roads so much.
I just want a road trip, man. I just want to drive between two facilities, don't necessarily fly. I don't know. It's just a thing. I just like the idea of driving.
It would be a really cool thing to drive from Lorville to a base out just outside of Lorville. That'd be cool. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Some short distance trips. Yeah.
It would also be interesting for like more combat oriented stuff, because if you need to take this main base, you need to go to the security post outside. So you go to the security post outside and you take that, and then you have to drive it in because the main base is too protected with its own defenses and those sorts of things. So having a road helps.
It just is also trappings of human civilization. You know, roads are just like intrinsic to us. We've been building them for generations.
As long as civilizations have existed. So. All right, next question comes from Biharat, who asks, with the upcoming Hammerhead update, do you think since the Hammerhead is so focused on turrets, that turrets will get some quality of life features? Maybe.
Yeah. I can see it.
They definitely want to make the Hammerhead good. That's why they said specifically in the last monthly report that it and the Aurora were going for reworks, or not reworks, but for updating. So
didn't they in the same report mention that they're going to be putting in harder sort of like movement limits to the turret, so it doesn't have to follow a really weird. You know when you sometimes swing it around and it suddenly goes up and over because it's following the geometry of the ship.
Yeah, it's not. It's not
already talking. Yeah, they're already talking about making changes to the turret, so it wouldn't be impossible. I think it's going to get upgunned.
I could see it being upgunned. I could also see the turrets being reworked so that they're 360. So instead of just like up and down, like you could just spin them and like get more full attacks with them, so you can actually hit more things. Because that's been a problem as well. Is you just have to angle the ship properly to hit anything. So
it's a nightmare. It really is.
What do you guys take of them going back to the Aurora and the Hammerhead?
That they're done in Squadron.
Yeah,
but yeah, thank God. The Aurora needed it. The Aurora.
Yeah, we've talked about this so often. The Aurora was not fit for purpose. Simple as that.
Yeah.
It was. I'm so pleased they're going to redo it.
It was.
Is it a problem that I guess that's a dumb question to ask. I don't know. How do you guys feel about the fact that it got to the point where they felt the need to take it off the store because it didn't give the experience they wanted to, as opposed to just like fixing it beforehand?
Yeah, I think that's the reason why they did that. Yeah, I think they pulled it off the store because they just didn't want to get to it, or they didn't like it, but they also didn't have the resources or the manpower to get to it, and they're just like, we need to yank it. We need to yank it now because if we're going to start getting into more people coming in, because I think CIG is anticipating both Squadron and Nyx and other updates bringing new people in, they want to try to ease them in with ships that they know.
So why do you? Well, how long do you think it's going to be before they get that update?
It's 6 months. I think it's going to be by next year, probably by next Invictus. Because like, if they're talking about it in a monthly report, then they're already working on it, and it usually takes them 9 to 12 months. So
Could you really see an Aurora taking that long though? It's such a small
Yeah.
ship, and
It-
I can see it being quicker than that.
It
The
could be.
Hammerhead's going to take longer though, obviously.
Yeah.
That
That has been pulled at the store.
but it's also they could get it done internally and then just hold on to it until Invictus, and then push the updates at Invictus, so they can be like, the Aurora is updated. We're putting it back in the store, So
I think it'll be met with a lot of positivity. It was a lot of people's first ship, so
It's an
But the
important.
Hammerhead, needs a lot of love. It's such a weird design inside at the moment. I'd love to see what it looks like.
it might also get a medical bed. I can see
Thank
it getting
God
a
it
medical
needs
bed,
one. It's supposed to be a fighter corvette. Sorry, escort.
Yeah.
It's a screening vessel. People are supposed to stay on board that ship. Why does it not have a medical bed?
It's supposed to be a patrol ship, so it should have some
Yes.
sort of like ability to heal, like even tier 3 injuries. Like,
Exactly.
I messed up my arm, and they even said it in Squadron. And I got a message from somebody a while ago that I actually went back and looked at because they messaged me something else about somebody who was I think it's in the Navy. And there's a message mentioned like the gunners just got off of the gunners get off of 24-hour rotations. They always have injuries, and it's not because they're in the guns. It's because when you get off 24-hour rotation, you're tired and you're going to trip on things and you're going to hurt yourself because you're not paying attention. So as a result, you get hurt. And so like in a ship you're supposed to literally sit in a turret for your entire patrol waiting for something to happen, you're going to get tired and you need some place where you can just go, get some Bengay to rub on your shoulder or something like that. That's just what a tier 3 is. So
Just stab yourself with a med pen. You're
yeah,
fine.
just take this totally non-addicting drug and stick it in your arm, soldier,
Good, dude,
for
it's
democracy.
good. Take your report.
All right. Next question comes from MPCDN, who asks, do you think the resource drive was such a win due to it being non-combat, or the fact that the prizes were given to keep?
Prizes and non-combat. Both.
Yeah, yes, both. The reality is that the combat community is like 10% of the whole community, PvP and PvE. Vast majority of people aren't there for combat; they're there for other things. And so the prizes were what got people back in. But I think the non-combat features were like, oh yeah, cool, I can do this. I can get prizes and I don't have to shoot things.
There was a huge amount of excitement around it. Everybody I talked to was super jazzed by there being a non-combat thing, and it gives really cool permanent account-bound rewards. That is the recipe for success.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to just play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want like something to do and something to progress towards and want. And they put the nice fuel in the game to do that. They gave us the ability to do it with FPS combat, ship combat, cargo hauling, mining. Like, that's the best excuse to play the game we've had in a long time.
Yeah. All right. Next question. This is the thing for me as well, and then we'll get to the last few. Alton Keltiel on YouTube asks, has the United Workers of Hurston and the greater political anti-UEE factions within the UEE been regulated to a dead lore factions now that they're trying to streamline factions and rep? No, they are now part of the syndicate. Or no, the council is what they're called. The council. You can get council script in game too. The council is sort of, we don't know what it is, but it is sort of a vaguely anti-UEE pro-criminal organization, sort of like a loose association, like a confederacy of pirates.
Okay. Are there any like Yakuza style organizations?
Oh yeah. TC Pacheco. She is one of the leaders of it. They're called the Otoni Syndicate. Yeah. The way they work, or the why they're so infamous, is that they send in a agent to recruit somebody locally, and then that person is given the like responsibility of creating a branch of the syndicate in the system. And then they give them supplies until they become self-sustainable, and then they join the council of the Otoni Syndicate, where they all make the decisions on which systems they go to. And so they work together, but they have little franchisees in every system, so that they've
got enough autonomy and
yeah
compartmentalization to where they can suffer a loss and be like, fine, it's
and
not
they have
an issue.
And they have to be, to get there, you have to be ruthless to rule, which is why Tecia is always doing absolutely ruthless shit in her missions. It's like, we're going to break out our buddies, but not everybody else. We're going to go to this place which are totally drugs that are run by our enemies, and have you blow them up before the authorities show up. So,
are you sure this is not just the CIA in the future, mate?
No,
I'm ripping off of what chat's saying, but it's the truth. That's the CIA to me.
That's what's called the Division. They're a completely different thing. And
oh God.
They are entirely responsible. I personally believe that they are the money people behind the frontier fighters.
Oh yeah, I can. 100% yes. Not as a CAI front is all. Yep.
Yeah, it's a front.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think
it
was a front organization that got rogue, and the division was just like, nope, you're cut off. You've gotten way too hot now. We can't deal with this. You're now getting the attention of the Navy. We got it, and the advocacy. Like, no, absolutely not. So
that sounds so completely logical. Damn it, man! Stop making sense.
Well, my thought is like they're there as an anti-Xeno threat organization. They're there to take over and violently kill all of these people who are clearly pro Mezer or former Mezer groups, and they're like, well, we can get these people who are mad and have an axe to grind. We can give them money, and they'll just go do it for us. And then they started killing everyone in the UE, and they're like, that's not what we said. That's not what we wanted. Stop it, please.
That's great.
All right. But yeah, no, the council is a big one. They're basically, we don't know what they are. My best guess in terms of using lore, it would be they're some sort of ancient organization, in the sense that they probably date back to the anti-unification factions. When they lost the war, they spread out, and it said that a lot of those groups, those people, ended up forming the first pirate factions. And so my guess is that they were probably some sort of loose association to keep these different groups still together, so that they can kind of coordinate even after they lost. And because it's never really developed into an actual revolution, they sort of became sort of a loose organization to regulate piracy and outlaws and rebels, so that they can you can go to them for help, but there's just more of a, like, if we have disputes between each other, and we can come and discuss these things rather than making it bad for everybody's business. So,
fair enough.
Yeah, but we'll see. We don't know about that, anything like specifically, just their name, the council. That's all we know them. Ruben Soros asks, if there were no limitations, what would you like to next see on the Anvil Atlas platform? That's like the Ballista, the Centurion, that kind of stuff.
Ooh. Good question. Good bloody question.
Mine's easy.
Go on.
Artillery.
Yes.
A big cannon.
Gun.
Yeah.
Yep. And that could be guided munitions in type thing, laser target and fire it. Yes. Yeah, I'd like to see that. That'll be awesome. I could see it being turned into an 18-wheeler too. Yeah. I'd go back to the concept artwork we saw one time from base building, where it showed an Atlas tractor unit with a large container on the back of it. I like that idea.
Tomato?
You just put like an oversized railgun on the back.
Yes.
And it only fires if you have like giant spikes that have to drive into the ground and make you stationary. It's just something ridiculous like that.
Yes. There was actually a concept that a fan did called the Anvil trebuchet, I think is what it's called, which is basically it's a big artillery cannon that had these deployable like legs that would hold it down when it fired. So
Yeah.
Just quickly, the two other concepts: uh, mobile laboratory, like
Yeah.
field lab on the back of it, or mobile camper
Yeah,
type thing.
that'd be great.
Either, just think it'd be cool. It's a very flexible platform.
It's I forgot what it's called. It's the one that it's based off of the one that HIMARS is built off of. It's similar to that. It's there's
All right, yeah.
like HIMARS is probably the most famous of them, but it's someone in chat will tell me what it is. HEMET, yeah, it's the HEMET system. It's Star Citizen's version of the HEMET system. So
That makes sense, yeah.
yeah, the attack HEMs, yeah.
Ooh, repair and recovery one would be cool too. Sorry,
Oh.
just getting all these ideas now.
Yeah, our repair and recovery would be great. I think that'd be an awesome one. All right, we got 2 more questions. Icorn asks, what do you three think they could have concentrated on to make it the year of playability instead of what they have done?
That's a good question.
Tomat?
I don't know. Yeah, Tomato, what you got on that one? I'm stumped.
The transport refactor.
Okay.
I guess the big things that they wanted to do that they couldn't. I think that they've done a playability push.
Hmm.
I mean, if we could consider the 3 things that they said were important to them, I think they've all taken steps up. Obviously, content has been the biggest focus amongst those things. But in terms of what they could have done, I think the biggest things would have been like fixing just the systemic problems that they clearly said they wanted to do. The things like the transit refactor, the mission system being pretty messed up and us still missing contracts from before 4.0, the elevators, and probably just the general stability of Pyro as well.
I would only add on to that the freight elevators and the hangars with like how they load things, because I can't tell you how many times I've pulled up a ship and it's doing the freaking dances inside of the actual like elevator section of it, which and then when you send it back down it gets blown up and it's like, cool, now I've lost a ship for 20 minutes. So
yep, that's true.
And that's
truth.
That's got to be one of the most frustrating things if you're just a new player with like 1 or 2 ships. Like, oh yeah, I got my spirit, and then now it's broken, and now I just logged in, and I've got to wait 20 minutes to get my spirit back. Like, that's got to be just a kick in the nuts sort of experience.
That's truth.
I
think from my perspective, I would like to have seen. I've seen a lot of the concepting of their new inventory system that they're talking about, which have tags and filters. Please, I need that in my life. That could have been a nice thing to have seen. And a real quality of life update.
Yeah, mostly quality of life. And the thing is, like what Tomato said, it was like those 2 things are things they're working on. They're just not done yet. So
yeah.
But I guess maybe they could have had more resources and focused on them, but we don't.
Could have been further along on those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've done pretty good though.
The worst part really is like the transit refactor. The fact that we were hearing about that on monthly reports from years ago, and they were talking about things they needed to do to prepare for server meshing, and then they put it on the roadmap, and then we hit 4.0, and then they were like, oh, we're not doing it yet. And then it wasn't until like 3 months later when they were like, this is so big, we're going to break it out into its own thing and continue trying to fix the transit problems we have now. And it's like, this was way bigger than you guys ever made it seem like before it came out. I mean, they made it seem big, but they also made it seem like they had plans for it with 4.0, and it's definitely not anywhere close to being done. So I think that was one of the bigger things that stood out.
Yeah, I mean that shows some of the weaknesses that CIG has, where they'll have really good ideas, or they seem to have good ideas, and then it actually hits. They actually get to actually implementing it, and it's like, oh, this is awful. This isn't going to work. And so we get here these things like what was the other one from 318? Or before 318, the inventory update, where there was like, oh yeah, we had to throw that out and completely change that.
315.
Was it 315?
When they did the inventory for the first time, like
I'm forgetting the name of it, but there was a name they used, and they had to toss it out because it wasn't working.
Like that personal inventory system, the little circle that they had.
It wasn't even just the system; it was like the stuff they were going to use it to like the system they were going to use.
iCache.
iCache, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, how the iCache didn't work, so they threw it out, and then now they're doing Pcache and other things like that. So yeah, like it was like
No, Pcache was before iCache.
oh, it was before iCache. Now they use
Yeah.
oh gosh,
Entity graph.
Entity graph, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a great example. Like they talked about iCache, Pcache, and iCache for ever, and then it was like, by the way, we threw it out. It's like what? So, all right, last question. I would say this one for last because I think it's a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
Washoy asks, are you worried that with the release of Squadron 42, the larger gaming audience will shine a light on Star Citizen's more controversial issues, such as pay to win and $2,000 USD spaceships? Drama.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be a problem. It will be. And as creators, all of us will probably take a lot of that brunt. And I do mean that because people will come in to talk or leave comments on you boys' videos or whatever, and they'll be like, it'll be, yeah, a huge, great big beam of light will be shone on those. I don't know if I don't know if it's necessarily controversial at this point. It's so well known, but yeah, there'll be a new slew of people, and you'll have to explain how it works and all the rest of that nonsense, and it's just not pay to win, blah 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 blah. But
yeah,
that's the gig, I guess.
That is my most frustrating part about being a creator with Star Citizen. Is like, it must be nice in other games where people are complaining about like stability fixes, and you can go, yeah, I'm having the horrible time. When like a lot of folks come in and are like blaming you personally for something CIG did because they can't vent to CIG, so they vent to you, and it's like, I'm not your psychologist, buddy. Like,
Yep.
I'm here to talk about cool shit and play the game, but
Making videos for other games is sometimes like it's like wow, these comments are not super angry about everything.
Yeah, I mean, I did my Titanfall complete history of Titanfall, the Titanfall universe. It's still doing numbers, still great, and it's still whenever people talk about it, it's people like me are like, I wish we had Titanfall 3, or like I miss Titanfall 1. It's like that.
Yeah.
It's like
Community
yeah,
getting together.
and not like, why didn't you talk about my special stuff? Not people blaming me for the fucking lore, being like, why are you focusing on lore and not the game? I'm like, I'm not the goddamn developers, guys. I don't know what you're talking about.
Fix the game, Paul.
Yeah. I do think it could be a problem, but that's a CIG problem that they're going to have to deal with on their own. They have made this bed. They have to figure out how to fix that problem. I also think that there will not be as many people transitioning from Squadron to Star Citizen as people think. As a Bethesda fanboy, as a member of the worshippers of God Howard, I will say that I was very much enlightened when I was super jazzed for the idea of a co-op Fallout game with 76, and everyone else thought this was the worst thing that could ever happen because Fallout is a single player game. And I'm like, what? And then, yeah, the divide between the Fallout 76 fan base and the Fallout fan base, or the Elder Scrolls Online fan base and the Elder Scrolls fan base, is like a wall. Now, there are more people who play Elder Scrolls Online and Elder Scrolls, but you'll find more people will play games like Skyrim than they'll play ESO because they can go back to it and play it and that kind of stuff. I think there is a type of gamer who plays single player and then plays MMOs, and they don't tend to cross over a lot. Sometimes they do. I'm sure everyone in chat is psyched about both, but I guarantee you there'll be people who find Squadron 42 and hate Star Citizen. Not because of the ships or anything, just because they don't want to deal with other people. They just want to play the game in their own pace. So, So I think
he wants it to be like GTA and GTA Online.
Me?
No, but Chris. CIG.
Yeah. I mean, that was the whole idea.
Potential.
But like even GTA and GTA Online have a divide. There's plenty of people who play GTA Online and then don't play the single player of GTA, or have played all the single players and then got mad when there was no single player expansion to GTA, 5. So yeah.
Honestly, Squadron 42 coming out will be one of the most high profile things to happen for the whole project since its inception, basically.
Mhm.
So it will, of course, cause consternation, and it will cause a lot of hit articles. And like I say, we'll have to end up in our frontline roles of no, it's not a scam.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking of recording a primer and just like pressing play on it and just have it just come over the stream. It just says the same stuff.
Yeah. That's probably a good idea, just to do a video. I know people have done in the past where you just make a video and then everyone's like, what are your thoughts on it? And you just go.
Yep, there you go.
But I also do think that a lot of folks, there are so many people who have no idea that Squadron 42 is connected to Star Citizen. One of my favorite comments is on the IGN version of the Squadron 42 demo, where someone said, it was one of the top comments on there that said, I've never seen so much positivity on a Star Citizen video. And the comment right below it was, because this isn't Star Citizen.
Why would you say that? Like, why wouldn't you be like, what do they mean? And search, it's the internet.
And then everyone else was like,
Isn't it?
then just a series of, bro, this is the single player version of Star Citizen. And them being like, oh. But I mean, the fact that that was like that high up and most people were super psyched about Squadron and almost nobody was talking about Star Citizen means that most people have no idea that Squadron is connected to Star Citizen. And so I think CIG has an opportunity to release Squadron as a standalone and then go, by the way, Star Citizen is our multiplayer game. And for people to go, oh, well, if you did this well with Squadron, maybe I was too harsh on the scam game, you know?
They might have an opportunity to reset the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
If
why
they handle it right.
I think that's why they're making everything else that they're doing more pretty from their, like, the no concepts thing. I think is a big tell.
Yeah.
That they want to be taken more seriously.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for all the questions. We went a little bit longer than I thought, but again, I should have thought of that with Tomato and Loken. Us three together, we're going to talk. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for joining us. Check out Loken Plays, twitch.tv/Loken Plays, Monday through Friday. And then, you know, anywhere on the internet where you see a Space and a Tomato together, you probably find a Space Tomato as well as Space Tomato Gaming on Twitch. And if you enjoyed this, join us live, twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/theastropub live. No, youtube.com/the Captain's Table podcast on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We'd love to have you come and join us live and ask your own questions. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.